Hi everyone. I got a question how to model scramble crossings or pedestrian scramble or X crossing or um, Barnes dance. So basically those intersections, those signalized intersections where you have pedestrians and those pedestrians have their own phase so they don't mix with vehicular traffic. And when they don't cross only parallel, but they can cross diagonally as well. So we will need to do things a bit differently. So there are some things, very important things in order to achieve that. As you can see, I already put a simple network together and I'm going to take the video from the start to the end. So I will place all the signals. I will set up all the pedestrians. So if you are not interested in that, you can just skip those parts. The signals will work in a way that I will give the main direction green. So first they do a diamond, so they do the left turns. Then the two opposing movement goes together with their right turns. Then you will have the minor arm and then the other minor arm, and then you will have a full pedestrian phase. The pedestrians will be modeled using the Vissim module. So you need to make sure that you have that if you want to do this. Without that, it wouldn't really make sense. I don't think you can build a proper model if you don't have those. I do not have, but I can build it and I can run it up to 30 pedestrians. I think you do the same, or I mean, you should have the same. It comes by default most of the times. But if you want to model like large pedestrian volumes, you need to have the license that allows you to run more than 30 pedestrians in the same time. So let's go and set up the signals. So there is a, okay, let me delete this. So create a signal controller, edit the data. You might not see this many options here. I see it because I have the Vissig module where you can do more details, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to only use the features that is available for everyone. So click add. You create a signal group. Let's create a few more. So this is gonna be the main left turns. This is gonna be the main through. Then you have the south northbound, basically left turn, right turn through. You have the north southbound, so everyone from the north. And then you have the pedestrian. And I delete this. So we have 5 signal groups. We go to signal program, click add. Let's set up a longer cycle, maybe 150. Um, depending on which country you are, you can change these, the signal sequence. I'm going to just keep that. For pedestrians, I select red, green, flashing red. Okay, I leave the times by default here. These green, these times for the red amber, or anything. For this example, it doesn't matter. You will change them according to your country specifications. So I'm going to use the main left turn. It's 10 seconds. I leave a bit of intergreen there. I use 20 seconds for the main through movement. It's probably you would use more, but okay, let's do 30. Then intergreen for the south northbound movement, 10 seconds. Intergreen I leave again between the two. I just give the same 10-second. And pedestrian, I leave intergreen. And let's say the pedestrians run for 10 seconds. You need to calculate basically how much is the walking time. So like the longest distance they walk, and by using an average walking speed, you can just calculate it. I'm going to just use 10 approximately, and I will leave a very long intergreen after, because pedestrians, even if they step at later. And also just let me just go back for a sec. So in some countries these work differently. In some countries you have a short green as much as the walking time takes, and then there is a long red flashing phase. There are countries where you only have green and then it goes basically black and white, so just the extent. There are places when there is a flashing green, and it basically depends on where you are. But anyway, so assuming pedestrian will step down, so you need to be safe. So I'm going to reduce my cycle time because I think I don't need 150. So you assume that pedestrians will not step after this flashing green. So it's 90 when it finishes. So you want to have at least like a 14, 15. So just, of course you need to calculate this properly, but I'm going to leave like it's 90. So it's 10, 12. Um, so it's 90. I want probably a little bit longer than that. So I'll just increase the cycle time. So 92, 94. I just leave some there. Maybe increase it to 110 to be a round number. This may be too much. So if it's like 5, that's 10. Okay, I think I'm going to increase it up to this to 110. So I provide enough um, green time, or sorry, intergreen. You might not need it. It really depends on the size and everything. So you will get this data from wherever you get your data or signal sheets, or you calculate it. Okay. If you are interested more in how to calculate these, I can make a video about that, but I don't want to have more on that. So now that's done. So I just place the signals. I am going to place them first, and then I will set the signal groups up. Okay, so these two, the main left turn, these four, main through, these two, 3, 4. All right. So I just move these slightly back. Okay. Now, pedestrians need to consider each other, and they need to cross the road in any way. The only way to achieve that is to use areas. So I'm going to place an area, just a random one first, just like a square like that. So we want pedestrians to be able to cross parallel or perpendicular here. I also want them to do it here. So like to cross here. I also want them to be able to cross here, where you would have a normal zebra. And also like here. We don't need this blob here, this corner. So I'm going to just remove that. Like that. And what we will do, and this is very important, sorry, just my mouse is keep clicking everywhere. So like that. No. We need to load pedestrians into the model. We are going to do that using areas again. Let's just create 4 blobs. So we use these where pedestrians appear. You can consider them as zones. We add pedestrian input. Sorry, I had some dummy in this model. Let me just delete these inputs and add them again. My mouse is double clicking sometimes. Okay, so now we have it. And we need to, you need to consider 2 things here. One is you can't place signals on areas. 2 is pedestrians only need to obey the signals when they get into the intersection. If you have pedestrians that consider signals while they are in the intersections, they wouldn't be able to get out of it. So you need to make sure that you only place so-called like one-way signals to make sure that they can get in, but even if in the meantime the signal goes red, they can still get out without being blocked. So what we do, we tidy up slightly these areas. So I basically provide a wide surface here. I think I need to get a new mouse. So like that. Basically just providing a surface area, a long edge. And the trick is that you need to use a link, but that link is going to be a pedestrian area. And let's make it wide. Like that. Maybe even wider. So, of course here, depending on your model or your location, you can use multiple links if you need to make the area better. But I think it will show you what you need to do to make it work. So I'm going to just copy paste this. Like that. Okay. Just make sure that you cover the edge so that it's not like this. So there is an overlap. Also here there is an overlap, you see. So now that's done. There is something very important. I'm not sure if you have seen my video about comparing pedestrian crossings and pedestrian areas and links and so on. But when you convert a link to pedestrian area, it becomes like a special link that has both direction, and that is something we need to take advantage of in this model. So when you see there is an arrow there, but if I push tab, you can see that basically there are two links overlapping. When you place your signal, select pedestrian, and you can see that there is an arrow. Note that depending on your Vissim version, in the very old ones, this might not be the same. The arrow might not be there. So just make sure that you hover your mouse over it, and the arrow you see will show you which direction it's on. So we want to make sure that this, so now if I select, so not just to hover, sorry, so hold on to it, and you will see that it is on the inside, so the inbound into the intersection side of the link. Let's do the same here. I place it, pedestrian, and you see now that this is on the wrong one. So what you do is you select it, you hold your mouse on it, you hold the left button down and you push tab, and you can swap which um, direction it's on. Now we do the same here. So again, I select it, hold on left, change it. Tab, change it. This is very important because if it is like this, pedestrians can just walk across when they go into, but they cannot get to your area when they leave the intersection. So that's the trick. That's what will help your pedestrians to complete their movements in intergreen or during the intergreen. Okay. Now I just need to create some static routing very quickly. So you always should have longer links. Let me do it properly. So you can see the queuing, you can allow for lane changes. Okay, so now we have a movement for all Let's do the route. That. And at last, like that. Let's just edit these. So I want only small turning proportions. So I'm going to increase, so these are relative proportions. So I'm going to increase this to 10. So most of the majority of the traffic will just go through. Okay, so it seems I double clicked here as well. So I just remove this single one. So this is the through. So I put 10. Double clicked again here for some reason. Okay. You can also do like 0.1 here, 0.1 here. It doesn't matter. It's relative. And again, 3. So this is the main movement. So I just put 10. Let's create a vehicle input. For each. I just delete the double clicked ones. I think my mouse is dying. So let me just put a vehicle volume. I'm not going to put a lot. Just maybe 700, 800, 200. Let's just go back to the pedestrians, because now we have the flows, but we need to still set up the routes. So we have in each one the inputs. We haven't added flows yet. Let's do that actually. And so you have 100 in each. And the route is from there to there, here, there. You basically set one up from each to each. You can use a matrix as well. You can use a matrix as well for pedestrians, but we are not going to do that. We just take it simple, or do it simple. And the last one. Yeah. I'm not going to change the proportions. It doesn't matter, I think, for this example. Let's just run and see what did we forget. Okay, it's a bit too fast. Let me slow it down. We go to simulation parameters, and I put a factor of maybe 6. That means just it's 6 times faster than the real life. So first the vehicle green, then those green, then those guys come, and now pedestrians shoot. So let me just zoom in a bit and let's just see what's going on. Those little dots are the pedestrians. So now green, they can go wherever they want. So they cross like this, they cross parallel, parallel, diagonally. Now it's flashing and it's red, but they are still crossing. And you can see they can cross the signal. Okay, so now there was this issue of that pedestrian being too slow. So two things. One is maybe I think that pedestrian is just too slow, so we can just probably change the speed distribution for it or increase the intergreen time, because probably the intersection is too big. So let me just increase the intergreen time a bit to avoid such a like that. Just go to program. I just put a 5 extra second. So this is the way you basically model a scramble. Visually, you can also place like to create the crossings. Um, you can just create dummy links. Where you can place let me make it. You can place a dummy link, and there are pavement markings. And you put zebra. Oh, it's the other way around. No, hang on. Let me untick that pedestrian. So it remembers from previously. So it uses the last setting. Now it's okay. Let's try it now. I just put it very wide. And let's go to pavement markings. It creates so strange. Let me just rotate it then. It creates this very funny. It seems to me like a bug in this new Vissim. It shouldn't create it like this. But anyway, so let's just do 3. And let's make it longer. So you can just place these for visual purposes. These do nothing besides visual. So you can just duplicate this link. So I click there, I do tab, so I can duplicate this. My mouse is acting weird. So I duplicate it. Okay, you can duplicate that pedestrian crossing as well. Place it on the new link. And you can just do let's just do this for the I just create here actually, it will be faster, and then place it over. Duplicate. Duplicate. Now we can just place it over here. Of course it doesn't look nice, but hang on. There is something I clicked wrong. Just delete that. Okay, so now I just select this again. Control seat, and let's place it there. Some countries they paint it this way, some countries they don't. And you can just do it there. Increase the length of 23 because I need to start it earlier. Okay. So there you have it. So this is the way to create a crossing, a scramble crossing. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and liking, and maybe check out my other videos. And also, if you want to support me, you can go to my Patreon and sign up for a small membership. Thanks for watching. See you next one.